So I am just on the BJJ Fanatics website, and what's amazing is now we've already talked about Gravity is Your Friend, but there are 2 other instructionals that you might want to talk about.
Recently, I had the opportunity to work with BJJ Fanatics guy, and now we have 3 instructionals out there. We have escapes engineered for guys over 40. If you're 40 or more, hey, dig into it. Gravity's your friend. Sit-up sweeps. Been there for some time and is really, really getting a lot of attention. And then we have the Smash the Knee Folding Pass. Now, that's one of my favorites. So if you haven't looked at them, take a look. BJJfanatics.com.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
On that note, speaking of dogs, we are live, by the way. Speaking of dogs, you just reminded me this story where my boxer, for those of you who don't know, I have a 85, 90-pound boxer, but when he was younger and he was more stupid than he is now. Mm-hmm. He ran through the screen door.
I had the dog do that. Yeah. Guess what kind of dog he was?
No, but listen. I remember this like it was yesterday. The actual glass door is closed, right?
Okay.
And he's just coming out of the corner. Boom. He's full intention of going out, and then it's one of those backpedaling paws. You know,
he caught himself.
He caught himself, right? So I was like, okay, fair enough. Okay, I was like, there's the bullets. I opened the glass door. He goes back, turns around, and he walks into the screen door. Just boom, just bounces back. Yeah. I was like, and then you got this like big indent into the screen. I had to change the screen. It was like whole production was just stupid.
No, my idiot boxer on the 4th of July, I had left, because I'm an idiot too. I had left my bedroom window open, and he went out the bedroom window, thankfully, into the closed, fenced-in yard next door.
Oh, so it was such a ground floor?
Yeah, first floor. So, I mean, he only fell, it was kind of a ranch house, so he really only fell 5-6 feet.
Not a cat.
Out. But no, I'm sure this idiot didn't land on his feet. So 2 minutes in, should we talk about what we're supposed to talk about, or we want to keep...
That's why we love boxers.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
They are awesome. They are awesome. And yes, he was the best dog I ever had.
I love my Wesley.
Yeah,
shout out to Wesley. He's not listening, but
no, Jackson's no longer with us. He's been gone for a long time. But without Jackson,
listen, Wesley is in the overtime right now. He's past 4th quarter. He's waiting. Yeah. He's waiting for the tickets.
If it wasn't for Jackson, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So sorry, listeners.
All right, we got that out of the way. Yeah. What are we talking about?
We're talking about...
I feel like I should step back right now because this is you drooling like last hour and a half. You've been drooling. Yeah. Don't play it down.
No, I fanboyed out big time, Bernardo. And I think he's one of the greats, and not only one of the greats, obviously, because of what he's accomplished on the mat, but I look at everything he's done off the mat. I've never seen anybody say anything bad about the guy. He's always smiling. He says he gets sad sometimes too, but we don't see it. And the only time he's not smiling is when he's on the mat. There's a great picture of him like charging someone. I don't remember. Yeah, he's in a blue gi, his shirt, his gi's open, and it's just like, oh my god, if that was coming after me, man, I'd be sprinting.
If you've never seen the picture with me and Bernardo, look at my Instagram. I'm like a foot shorter.
He's huge.
He's humongous.
He's a big guy.
And then to comparison, just to frame this, look at picture of Bernardo and Hadra Gracie.
Oh, geez, Hadra's a giant.
And then Bernardo looks like a baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I said the story on the show before, but when I went to Boston and I met Bernardo for the very first time, I'm telling you, he walks in a room, smile bigger than his face.
Yeah.
You feel like you've known the guy for a decade.
Yeah.
as the first time you're meeting him. I mean, what a personality.
Yeah.
What a personality. What was the biggest thing that you took away from the conversation?
That, I started the conversation by talking about what I think an ambassador he is and what a role model he is. And naturally, we started talking about the role models he's had in his life along the way. And that's really what I took away. And just I feel that role models are hugely important to people, even adults, kids, adults alike. And I think that they can have a major impact and influence on people. And we've seen him do it on the BJJ community. And it's because of, I believe, and, he talked about it too, the influences and role models he had in his life. His parents, talks to him.
So why is that
every day.
important?
And
Why do you think that's important? Why do you think role models are important?
I think they teach you how to conduct yourself. I think that people follow the behavior patterns of others, good or bad, until there's something that kind of shakes them, wakes them up a little bit, right? I always remember when I was in my 20s and I was like, yeah, who cares if somebody's a role model or not? And like, I remember Charles Barkley at one point saying, I'm not a role model and people shouldn't look up to me. And at that point, before that, I kind of always thought that role models, blah, blah, blah. But when I heard him say that, I was thinking, you know what? No, you have millions of people that look up to you. You're a professional athlete. You represented our country in the Olympics. And I think that when you have that type of status, being a role model is put upon you. You don't have a choice. Right. Well, you have a choice, right, to be or not to be. But I think that it's you are a person of influence at that point, whether you want to be or not.
I think what's important to mention is that role model could be positive or negative.
Yeah.
A role model is just somebody that somebody else copying.
Yeah.
Right. So
and not necessarily even copying, but just following, letting them influence you to a point.
Right.
Along in your decision making, how you conduct yourself, how you want to be represented.
That's what we call influencers essentially today, right?
Right, sure.
It's in some shape of capacity.
Yeah.
So do you think that role models are important?
I do. I think, depending on how you conduct your life and the social media that is involved in your life or how you're involved in it, what you watch, things like that. I think you can probably live a life without them. As far as those are concerned, but then you have the personal ones, right? The people you see on a day-to-day basis, your teachers, your parents, your instructors, your friends, your older friends, your siblings. And I think oftentimes when you're, especially when you're young, you want to follow in the path of the people that are either doing things that you're very interested in or people that seem cool to you. People that seem, maybe larger than life or things like that. So I think that they're hugely important. I think that they're impossible to avoid, because
it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Because that's they're saying, right? You are who you hang out with.
Sure.
Right. And I think in some way that's reflective of, the role model, conversation, right? We hang out and whether you like it or not, whatever I do rubs off on you. And soon you're going to have a Polish accent and you're going to be saying, you're going to be butchering quotes and other things.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, like sometimes we think that there is no role model around us, but I feel that there is always somebody who's impacting us.
Yes.
We just might not see the magnitude of what's happening until years later.
Yeah. Or see how they influence you negatively, positively. They're making an impact, and you're going in a different direction because of it. I don't think the way that person thinks, and it immediately. And then down the road, you realize how things changed for you after that.
Yeah. What impacts they really had.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't see it at that point of time.
Yeah.
So how do we become a good role model? How do we, how do we create, knowing that somebody could be watching us, especially in like positions like, yourself and myself, where, we have hundreds of kids looking up on us in kids classes, and even in adult classes. I mean,
Sure.
you work in the office, you are at the academy every single day, what's your train of thought? Like what should we do to make impact on people? Should we make an impact on people?
I think
Do we care?
you should. I think that you need to be conscious of your decision making, your conduct, how you talk to people. I think you need to be aware of all those things. Because even if these people that we were with on a daily basis don't even, they don't look up to you, they don't want to emulate you in any way, your behavior still sets a tone.
Yes.
Right. Especially, on the mat, your behavior sets a tone. If you come in, we've talked about we'll take it to the adult class, but if your adult instructor, shows a technique and then wanders off and is on his phone, or he's talking to other people off the mat, on a regular basis, and not paying attention to what's going on, or he's got a foul mouth, or he talks about people in a negative light within earshot of others, and I'm talking about talking badly about somebody, not like a serious conversation where something happened, but I'm talking talking smack about somebody within earshot of somebody else. That's a tone. It builds the culture. And, is that what you want? Is that what you want to put out there?
And the same thing could be said in the opposite direction, right? If we are positive, if we are
Absolutely.
welcoming
Yes.
somebody, if we shake hands, if we know
Absolutely.
everybody's names, if we know we ask how their day was, we show some empathy,
Yep.
And we engage into these relationships, and then we are here to do the things that we love, right? And so it happens that it's jiu-jitsu, and we in some way we continue stimulating, everybody around us. Here's the $1 million question. Do you think that everybody could be a role model?
I think everybody who takes time to reflect about their behavior and their attitude could be. Sure.
Let me rephrase. Do you think everybody has a potential to be a role model?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if you've done some negative things in your life, even if you've lived, you spent time in jail, in prison.
You're being extreme right now, but
right. But I mean, even though, so that's why I'm taking it to the extreme, is because even at some point, those people can turn it around and say, "Hey, look at me now. This is where I made my mistakes. That's not the type of person you want to emulate. I'm so much better off now. I'm having a better impact. I have my family back together." Whatever the case may be. I think everybody has that potential.
Bring it back to the mat.
Uh-huh.
How do we become a good role model?
And
I'm not talking about instructors. Let's remove that. I'm talking about just training partners, students, peers, training buddies, on the mat.
I think by being a good training partner, and what I mean by a good training partner is you're there for the person, you're helpful to that person, you explain what's going on to that person, and I'm thinking somebody with some experience and a new person, right? That's kind of my scenario here. And you're accommodating, helpful, all those things. And I think that makes a positive impact on that other person. And then down the line, it's a chain reaction. It just keeps going. It keeps going. I've told this story before. The very first seminar I was ever at, the biggest impact on me wasn't anything that person taught. It was a different black belt came in, somebody I'd never met before. Eric Butler,
Shout out to Eric.
He came in for the seminar as well. Came out of the locker room. All the black belts were in one corner. It's the natural way things happen, no matter how accommodating I think places, we just gravitate, right? So it's like you can look down the line. It's almost like when you line up. It's all the white belts are, and then you got the blues and some purples are hanging around with the blues and vice versa, But Eric, when he came out of the locker room, he made sure to, before he went over to the black belts, all the guys he knew and has known for years, he went down the line and shook everybody's hand and introduced himself. And that to me is one of the biggest impacts I've ever had here.
Does he know that?
Does he? I think I've brought it up to him as well. Yeah. And we've
he's a super humble guy, but it's,
he's a fantastic guy. And that set a tone for that seminar. And it wasn't his seminar. He was just a guest. He was a guest as well. And it helped. It made an impact on a lot of people. I'm not the only one who noticed it that day.
The similar story. But before we wrap up, I want to share, so I always do this instructor program and there's a lot of guys who are interested in becoming, leaders and maybe teaching in the future, but it's more about how to inspire and motivate people and so on. And one of the very first things that we always do during those sessions is we answer simple questions. Why are you here? Why do you want to be an instructor? Why do you want to be a leader? And interesting answer came up this week as we were going through it. One of the guys said, a while back, I was starting. A while back, I wish I had somebody who just, kind of showed me the guidelines and told me that everything will be okay, And so, like, my goal is to really become that easy, accessible person. Like I would, and it's not always that easy. We know that, right? Sometimes it's hard to create bridge across these feelings and emotions and when we're stepping on the mat. But it was very mind blowing because it had nothing to do with how you teach, had nothing to do with, being helpful or correcting techniques or being phenomenal instructor or teaching in the future. It was purely based on, I just would like for the new guys to feel a little bit better when they step on the mat.
That's great.
And, that was, that was mind blowing for me.
Yeah. And I think
mind-blowing.
That's what role models do, in a way, is they pave a road for you, a path for you to follow. And when we talked earlier, it could be a negative one. It could be a positive one. At some point you got to make up your own mind, of which one you want to follow. But I think that like I said, for me anyway, anytime you're a person of influence, I think it's your duty to be a positive role model. It doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter if it's on Instagram or it's on a basketball court or if it's in a police station or if you're a politician. You are now a person of influence and you have a responsibility to those other people.
I'll take this to the next level. I think we are people of influence. I think we are. We influence people around us, and I think it is our responsibility to be aware of what we do, how we do it. I think there's way too much garbage out there these days, and, it is what it is. But I think we could have more good people around us, like Bernardo, smiling all the time, having good time, and doing jiu-jitsu.
Yes, and putting out amazing product and
Stop plugging them. You have that T-shirt. It's okay.
I just want to get in and to know.
Don't we have like a plug going?
I want to be like a hanger
by itself.
Yeah, I'm sure if they didn't skip it at the beginning of the episode, but I just want to be a hanger on. Be like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. So,
boy,
yeah. But just go out there and make a positive impact on somebody. And you don't have to do anything grand. You could apologize for something you did in the past, something stupid you said or goofy you did. And that's a great way to
Who made biggest impact on you?
In my life?
Yes, drop one name, go. You don't have to say full name, but who was it?
Joseph Jaquez.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know who
he was a high school teacher of mine.
Okay.
And it was it's a funny story, the way he did it. But I was like, I was getting in trouble a lot. I was like, I didn't get in trouble with him, but I was like, I can't get in trouble with this guy. He's too smart. And, but then what he did after that, even though I was in a bad spot, by treating me just like a normal, regular person, made a huge influence. So there you go. Joseph Jaquez.
All
right.
Shout out to him.
Yep. All right. Are we done here?
We done.
All right. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.